All righty, we are here. I'm going to turn on my little guy here so that I can actually watch for any comments. So if you can hold on just one moment. This is me working with some things, a little bit newer. All right, there's that. Whoops, okay, working. Oh no, I need to make it be quiet. I need to remind myself to make it be quiet next time. All right, so now I can see you guys. I can see me, which is really very awkward when you see you and you're talking. It's so much different. So anyways, this is me trying things new again. You know that I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm trying to make it, not that I don't love working with Athena and Gina and Teresa, but I need to be able to do some of this myself because they have real jobs and I have this job. And so sometimes I need to do this in the middle of the day kind of stuff. So we're going to get started. And today we're going to be using the new format that I have. So this is the front shot so you can see me. I think it might be a little bit bright. Bless those Hardy put in a brand new light yesterday, and so I had to send him to the hardware store to get a dimmer today because it was so bright I was like a ghost. And I think maybe I'm a little bit bright, but that's okay. I can deal with that. So now I am going to, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? How am I going to switch this? Okay, I got to make that go away. There I am. Okay, now I can do it. Really, I have some idea what I'm doing. So most of what I'm going to be showing you, I'm going to be showing you down on the table. So that should help. Then I won't be looking at myself talking. Oh, hi, Gina. Yes, she's right here in the room with me. And Judy in Oklahoma, and Kim from Florida, and Zella from Michigan. I'm going to talk about Michigan for a second. So what I'm going to do today is paint fabric. And with the painting the fabric, I mentioned to you that the supplies that I get, I will put a link below. So you just got to give me a few minutes after we're all done to get those links in below. Your sound is like you're talking in a bucket. All right, Gina, could you see if you could find there they are, over there on that table in a little Wonder Woman packet. Nope, keep going a little bit farther back. There, those are my new earbuds. So I'm going to try and put the earbuds in and see if I can make it hook up. I didn't try it. There's my new case, still got me. So I guess what I don't know is where is the earbuds going to pick it up at? I don't know. All right, it's hooked up to something, but I don't know what it's hooked up to. Hey, Robin, could you mention right now whether or not you can hear me? So I'm going to go on with this, and if you guys can't hear me, please speak up really, really quickly so I don't go on for too far. So this is the fabric that I use. I mentioned to you that I have fabric, and I can sell you the fabric when if you're interested, okay? So this is a 3-yard chunk. It comes as one big 3-yard piece. So if you're interested, we did actually put it on the website now. So you can go to the website and purchase some of that fabric, but I don't know what the shipping is because it's when I ship out books, it's all under media, and this is not under media, so I have to ship it out like first class or priority or something like that. All right, Robin says it's much better. That means the mic is working. So go Wonder Woman. Thank you very much. Hi, British Columbia. So before I start, I want to show you how I end. I mentioned this before in videos, and this is how I clean off my brayer. And Georgia, I'll get to all those questions that you're asking, okay? How I clean off my plate. You could use some hand sanitizer and rub it on your plate and wipe it off and get it all clean. But to me, that's obviously a waste of hand sanitizer because you know how precious a hand sanitizer is nowadays. So instead, I put down on my plate that might have a whole bunch of paint on it, I will take something like Liquitex Iridescent Medium, and I'll put down a coat of that. Gina, is that backwards? Well, you're going to see it in a second. I'm seeing it already. I'm wondering if that looks like it's backwards, like I should do it like this. I don't know, but you'll see in a second. Anyway, Liquitex Iridescent Medium. It's from your perspective. Okay, it's from my perspective. I put a coat of that down onto the plate, and then I put a piece of fabric down, and I put this down on Saturday. I had a class here at our local shop, painting the fabric. It was great. I love doing this in real life. And I put this down then. Now I'm going to peel it up. So it's like 4 days later. And this piece was not completely a white piece, but it was pretty close to white. when I put down the iridescent medium, and look what it does. It peels up pretty near everything on the plate. Now, I got to tell you, this plate was used by my friend Karen, and Karen had a hard time with the timing on the brayers. She just kept braying and braying and braying and braying and braying. Sometimes the paint would literally dry on the plate. But that's how I clean my plate. And in the process, I get a really cool piece of fabric, and then my plate is pretty clear. So when you're done with your painting, just do a little bit of layer of it. You can either use iridescent medium, or you can use like a fabric medium from Liquitex, something like that, and then put the fabric down, then come back a few days later. I also, for you quilters, you see that there is a OmniGrid ruler under there. Having an acrylic ruler to put your mat on, for me, is like the perfect carrier, so I can pick it up and carry it with me wherever I want to go. So my intention of teaching today was to show you how to layer some fabric. So these are some of the ones that I made kind of in preparation. And the reason it kind of looks like leaves is because today I went, oh, no, that's not the one I want. I've got to do sharing. No, not that one. There's a way to do this. I want to show you guys something. Well, maybe I'm not going to be able to. You know, I did it with Gina. Oh, there it is. Okay. Advanced, basic. Okay. So I live in Michigan. And in Michigan, this is what it looks like this time of year. Honestly, it's beautiful. It's not all the colors that you want to see, you know, when you're out in the fall. But I was not planning on doing this with the leaves. But when I was out on my hike today and I saw these leaves, I just thought it was beautiful. And it really was a beautiful hike. I went for about 5 miles or so and made my feet hurt a little bit, but it was really, really fun. Right? So from that, I decided to do what we're going to do today. So now I've got to get back to stop share. All right, there we are. And this is how we're going to do it. So we're going to start with, because I know that Georgia is watching, and Georgia actually purchased all of the supplies that she needs to get started. She even emailed me a picture of her studio ready to start. So I'm going to start from the very beginning. I love this piece. I thought that turned out really, really cool. So these are the pieces that I did, and this is what I'm going to kind of show you how to do. I love this kind of leaf. This one's one that I could actually do a little bit more on. And I usually have them stacked up so that I've got some that are done and some that need more. This is another one about maybe a half hour ago. I put this down. And now when I peel it up, it cleans off my plate completely. And then I've got more layers. I think that the fabric looks better when there's lots of layers. So not just one color and then maybe a stamping on top of that. So for instance, this was, oops, there she is. This was, it seems kind of odd. I'm not getting a single chat anymore. So if somebody could chat so I can make sure something's working, that would be cool. So this was a piece that was just a teal that I'm going to show you how to do. And then I had some gold left over, so I printed just a little bit of gold on it. And I like the little texture that it gets. This piece is not done. I've got more to do to it. You just don't know what more until you're there. All right? So we're going to start with the white pieces. And I'm going to do what I like to do to create my background. The first thing I'm going to do, these are the paints that I use. So these are Dilutions acrylic paints. Keep in mind, some of the colors might be a little bit off because I was getting down to not very much paint in them. So I actually mixed paints together in a bottle. And I don't know if you can hear that. There we go. All right. Somebody's saying something. Hi, Georgia. So I actually mixed some of the colors together. So as your bottles get low, you can then just take other paints and mix them in together, because I love these bottles. And sometimes when my bottle, you know, I might only have like this much paint in this bottle, I will take some of the Liquitex fabric medium or the Liquitex iridescent medium and add it right to it, shake it all up, and then it makes it like extends it a little bit longer. All right, so to start, I want to start by creating a solid base. Now you can do one color, or you can do maybe slight combinations of colors. Now, George is asking about my brayer. Georgia, this brayer at one time in his life was black. Now he is a whole combination of different colors. Um, I'll show you how I clean off my brayer, but I'm not one to worry. I don't wash it or anything because that would just seem silly. Wondering how the colors are looking. On my screen, they're not looking so good. On my plate, this is a very like creamy orange yellow, and this is a kind of a peachy. So we'll have to see how this camera's working for the colors. All right, so I brayer it on. Now I learned in class that some people brayer and brayer and brayer, and people also were pressing really hard when they were brayering. Don't press. You just kind of float it from end to end, and you do this just a few times, then you're done. You're ready to do the printing. To clean off my brayer, this is Decker Bond. This is a heavyweight interfacing that honestly you can buy at Joann's. On the back side of it is fusible. On the front side of it's like a heavyweight interfacing. I just take and brayer it off onto that. Now you could do this on paper, but to me that would be a little bit of a waste. With this, the Decker Bond, you can actually take this and cut out a shape. So let's say I wanted to cut out leaves, or with the yellow I might cut out a sunshine. And then with the fusible on the back, it's like a fusible fabric. So you can use what you painted on the Decker Bond as a fusible applique. So that's something for you to give a try. All right, so I put the yellow down. Oops, I brayered a little bit of green on here, but that's okay. And put it down on top, and then I rub it around with my hand. Now, sometimes I put too much on. I can tell I put too much on if the paint actually comes through to the back side. Now, too much is just a phrase. Nothing is wrong with it. It just means that I could have used less. So don't be thinking, oh no, this is broken because I put too much on. It's just that I could have used less. And when I pick it up, I have a pretty solid piece. That was a piece that I kind of brayered a little bit. So then I'm going to take that and I'm just going to set it off to the side. And now I'm going to use some other colors. So that's kind of a pinky brown. And this one's a little bit more of a fuchsia-y. Not too much paint. I wish that there was a magic that I could tell you that you want to squeeze on this much paint. I don't know how much it is. You'll start to learn the more you do whether or not it's too much or just right. When it's puddling on the, if it's puddling on the plate, that's too much. All right. So spread it around. And sometimes you'll say, well, it's just too much. I spread it around already. Well, then you stop and you go to your piece of Decker Bond and you brayer it off onto the piece of Decker Bond. And this piece of Decker Bond, he will get very, very, very covered with that paint. And like I said, you could do it with paper, but that just would kind of, I don't know, it just wouldn't be meaningful to me to have it be on paper. There. Here was another piece. So this is creating my backgrounds. Yeah, I had too much paint on. Told you I did. So, smear it down a little bit. I'm not pressing hard now. I'm pressing just lightly. I'm not trying to get every single drop of paint off. Peel it up. Now I have another background. Okay, and now I'm going to do maybe a purple. Gina, how does the color look? Can you tell it all? My little phone looks okay. All right, so Gina says the colors look good. Thank you. Gina's here as my moral support today. I'm trying to learn how to do this all by myself, like all the other grown-up YouTube people do. All right, spread it out. So I've got a little bit of a lighter purple going on now. Molly's here to help you. Molly's here to help? Molly. Oh, Molly. One of my big cats. All right, so that one's smeared enough. I'm going to take that off onto my brayer. Clear off my brayer. So my brayer is never actually clear, Georgia. It's just, I mean, if I can get a little bit of paint off of it, if I ever wanted to get a really, really clean brayer, I would take a piece of, so I do t-shirt quilts. You can take those leftover pieces from a t-shirt quilt and really wipe it down. But for me and the way that I create with the paint, I am okay that it's not going to be a pure green color, that it might have a little bit of leftovers from whatever it is that I did the last time. I'm way cool with that. All right. So this will be my last base. So I've made 3 bases. I've actually made more before. When I did this the first time with the base, I actually took my colors and I laid them down like a rainbow, and I did like, let me see which ones you can see. So like I went from blue, and then I did one solid blue. Then I did one with blue and this kind of periwinkle. Then I did just periwinkle. Then I did one with the periwinkle and the dark purple. And so I kind of went around that way. So how you want to make your bases is up to you. I just know that for me, I like having a base before I start doing my stamping and my stenciling. Right? So there's a purple. But you know what? I've got enough on here. I'm going to actually get another clean piece and get what my friend Barb would call a ghost image. She likes ghost images best. I like the ones that are really bold. So I'm just going to really press down for this ghost image. So Georgia, I hope it's going well. Oops, my leaves fell. Because we're going to start that next. Okay. All right. And then this one, look at that. I got a whole second kind of image. And now, again, my plate is almost clear. Oh, now, kitty cat, get out of here. Excuse me, I'm glad you guys aren't seeing that. He's trying to climb up the back of this stuff. It's so funny because most of the time he doesn't even come in here. All right, now we're going to start doing some layering. So I've got my leaves here. We're going to learn how to print with leaves, which I think is just really, really cool. And then we're also going to use some of the foam stamps. So these are those foam stamps that I get from Joggles. I will be leaving the link for you on the bottom. All right, Georgia says it's going good. I'm going to be expecting some pictures tomorrow. And then I'll also be using some of additional stamps. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these kind of 3 different sorts of backgrounds and some toppers to get some different layers going on. Okay, so we're going to start with, I'm going to start with this yellow guy. All right, this guy here that I already printed on. I just printed him just a minute ago. But you use so little paint. There's not like a ton of paint on here, so it's not like he's soaking wet. He's mildly moist at this point, but not soaking wet. Right? And I want to contrast something that's going to contrast this. So I'm going to go to some turquoise greens. So these are some of the turquoise greens in the Dilutions paint collection. Not going to put too much on because this is going to be my second coat. I'm going to move things out of the way. When I'm done, I should show you what this looks like because I just get a pile of mess. Just everything is just laying around here. All right. Oops, move them out of the way. Get some color on here. Blend it fast. I'm not pushing down with this. I'm just lightly running the brayer over and then done. You know what? I should time it so you know how much time it takes. Because some people in class were just doing too much. All right, now I'm going to take the leaves. Now, when you're looking at leaves, the back side of them have kind of a raised vein, and I found that works best put down on the plate. So find the raised leaf portion and kind of just lay it down on top. Here's another one. And it doesn't matter, you know, that there's no color in the leaves. It's just the shape and the texture that we're looking for, right? Now take one of your texture blocks or texture stamps. So this is one of those. I'm going to get, I've got turquoise, so I'm going to take this white. No, you know what? I'm going to do this one. I've done this already. I did this already with a piece, and I had purple. Now I'm going to do it with turquoise, and that's going to finish up this piece probably by adding some turquoise. Because what you need to do is you need to create some texture in the background. So I'm just holding the stamp in place. It doesn't matter if the stamp moves at all, but just with your additional stamp, so just using one of the smaller ones, put something on that background. Now, you could get a sponge and do this with a sponge. The idea is that if you don't do something on the background, you will end up with a very, very, very solid paint on the piece. And it just won't look good. Trust me, I've been playing with this for about 4 hours just today. All right, oops, over here. Just keeping those leaves generally in the same place. There. So now I've got all the backgrounds and I've got some additional color on this one. Yeah, I still might add more. I never know. Sometimes I'll add more. Right? Now I'm going to take this, the yellow-orange piece that I did, and I'm going to put it paint side down. And try now not to move the leaves. And I'm going to press it down with the leaves intact. And this is picking up, you can see where I'm kind of picking up in the background. Oh yeah, no, I am not going to come and rake your leaves. It's just not going to happen and stuff. But I will go for a walk and find leaves, all right? So now, if I pick this up completely, I'll end up with big blank spaces on the fabric. Not pretty. Oops, I got to get another piece. I'm going to get another piece and lay it here. Because these, I do got to kind of clean off my brayer a little bit more, so I'm just going to wipe it on my apron. You don't see that. The magic of television. Now I'm going to take this leaf up and look at the impression that leaf made. I'm going to lay it down on a piece, and I'm just going to brayer that down onto a secondary piece. Then I'm going to put this back down, pick up that leaf impression. I'm going to pick this side up. You know, of all the kind of painting that I do with these, this has got to be the fussiest I've ever been. Normally, I'm much more freewheeling with it, but with the leaves, the impression you get, I think it's totally worth the time it takes. So look at how icky it looks. Keep that in mind. This guy over here, brayer him down. You can actually, that was a sneak peek of what you're going to see in a second. And then the last one. Now, I did see somebody do this with ferns, and I thought that would be really cool, but my ferns are all gone outside. All right. So I'm just going to leave this on the mat for a second and come over here to the leaves. Look at the stamped impression that leaf left. Okay. I think that looks really, really cool. Now, I love stamps, but man, to have the nature and the leaves actually being your stamps, that's just pretty darn impressive. Now this. So I have the orange behind, and now I have the leaf impressions with the turquoise. Now I see that there's still quite a bit of paint on here. I'm just going to kind of create some layering. So this is a solid green one that I done, I don't know, probably a couple weeks ago when I first did it. I'm going to lay that down. I'm going to really rub this in. I want to get this really, really in there. All right. Spread that out really, get a lot of pressure on that. And then peel that up. So now what had just been solid green now has some texture from the leaves. So then I can add more to it. There's always more that can be added. Let's do another one because I've got this purple one here. Let's do, and I'm going to use the same leaves that I used. No, you know what? I've got a huge leaf. Run over here to the other side of my studio. Let's see what this really, really, got one really, really big leaf that'll fit right there on the mat. So this is going to be fun. All right, so I've got purple going on. So what am I going to be able to actually see on the purple? We're going to try some orange. Yeah, trial and error. This one's kind of ready. No, let's go a little bit orangier. This one might be a little bit bright, but I don't know if that one's going to be too bright. Okay, here's me being indecisive. No. Okay, last try. I promise this one. Just going to do just one color this time. Oops, there's a thread on it. Never leave a thread on it. It'll leave like a white spot on the fabric that you're printing. See, for lack of a better word, there's a goober on my plate. All right, I don't know where he is now. The goober is hiding. Smear this out just like I did before. And clean off my brayer on my Decker bond or my piece of paper. I have done the brayer cleaning just on fabric before too, but sometimes it gets a little bit thick. All right, so now I'm going to take my leaf and I'm going to take the vein side of the leaf. Sorry, watch my hand. I'm going to put that down, hold it in place as I grab another foam stamp. So this time I'm going to kind of take this one that has Kind of looks like little snails. Ooh, I don't have something to stamp it on. Oh, yes, I do. That one that had the green and now had a little bit of green. Now he's going to have a little bit of gold. So he's not super noticeable. That's okay. It's just going to be enough to create layers. And you know, one of the hardest parts for me with this is figuring out when my fabric is done. All right, I've stamped that one. It's got lots of layers. Do I just leave it like that? Am I done? Usually it doesn't get to be completely done until I've decided I'm sewing with it. And once I'm sewing with it, it's done. Nothing more I can do about it. All right. So I've created a pretty cool background. I'm not really sure what this is going to do for the leaf impression. This is going to be very interesting. All right, so I'm going to do this on the purple. Oh man, I'm afraid to do it on the purple because I'm afraid you're not really going to see it. Let me see if I can find something else. Maybe a little bit lighter. Oh, I got some black. Looking over here at the ones that I've already printed. Well, we're going to do the purple because I just am not sure what else I would do. All right, so I'm going to take that purple. And keep in mind, this is the purple one that I just printed at the beginning of the episode. All right, I'm pushing down to get the yellow on the edges that had the cool stamp in it. And I'm making the leaf pick up the paint. Now I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to hold it down on this side as I flip it up this way and take the leaf out. And put the leaf over here on that other piece and then put the fabric back down to get the impression of the leaflet. And then on this side, whoops, I don't know if my braidier's clean enough, but we'll see. I'm going to brayer down the back side of that leaf. Oh, he left actually a pretty good impression. I'm not sure if you can really see it, but he actually left a pretty good impression. All right, so back to this one. This is the big guy. And I was afraid the purple might show quite not enough. Oh, but I am seeing it. There's the big leaf. Can you see that? I'm not sure how the lighting is doing. That kind of looks, oh, because that's a lighter purple. But I can see the impression of the leaf. So I'm not super happy with that. Now I'm just going to take some other colors and do some regular stamping. Some of the cool designs that you can get of these foam stamps. I've got kind of a turquoisey and a gray. Brayer on fast. Clean off the brayer. I'm going to put it onto this one that we've been doing a little bit. This one's got a little bit of leaves on it. This one's got a little bit of the gold on it. And I'm going to take one of my favorite stamps. It's over here in a bucket. All right, this one here. And I can't remember what it's called. It's blossoms or something. But as you can see, it's about the size of the palm of my hand. And it just makes the best stamped impressions. So pick it up, stamp it down. Oh, love that. So usually when I'm picking up, I start very symmetrical. So you'll see I'm going to go one here, and even on the plate itself, I'm kind of symmetrical. But that's not all you do. I rarely just leave it like that. I'm going to go back and pick up more impressions and start scooching it all over the plate. Man, I love this stamp. It's my favorite. Here, and I gotta get some more here. And wherever I see that there's parts on the plate that look like it's just too much paint, that's where I take my stamp. All right, so now on this one. So this is the one talking about layers. It started out as green, then I did a little bit of the leaf, the darker green, then there's a little bit of the gold from the snail stamp, and then kind of finalizing with that. Love that. That piece I'm gonna say that guy's done. All right, so this guy's got stamping on him. I'm going to take him and put him on another base that I've already started. Which one? Oh, my goodness. I've got quite a few started. How about this one? You guys are going, how about this one? I don't know. Yeah, okay. So that one's got a couple of layers on it. Some limey green, actually some that I picked up from the stencil with some letters on it. And so this is going to go over. And at some point, the layers do create, yeah, some point the layers do create more paint, as you can imagine. And the more paint on it, that's going to make your fabric a little bit stiffer. It's really great with the, it doesn't matter with the quilt. Once you get it washed and the fabric is, the paint is totally permanent, it's not going to go anywhere. But it does get softer with every one. So trust me on this. You've got to try it, put it in a quilt, wash it, and see what you think. Now, it totally could be for using, for art quilting where you're not going to wash it. And not that I don't love art quilts, I do those too. But I love a quilt that I can cut off with, and these actually work for that. Now, this one is done. So it had that limey green under it. They had a little bit of brown, and now it's got the stamped impressions with that darker turquoise. This, I would call that finished. Now, I do have still a little bit of paint in here, so I'm just going to take this light one and see what else I can pick up. So the idea here is layering. You're not done until it sings to you and says, I'm done, or you put it in a quilt, and then you know that you're done once you put it into the quilt. All of these will go into my quilts at some point. I started doing some improvisational piecing. I've used these in machine applique. They're a little bit stiff to do hand applique with, but they work great for machine applique because in terms of what they feel like when they're done, they don't feel any differently than when you're doing fusible. If you're doing fusible applique, then you know that it's going to have that little bit of stiffness to it, and that's what it's like. And we've been putting fusibles on our fabrics for a long, long time. So there you have it. Oh, okay. I'm going to leave this one that I just put down. That'll be the one that I'll pick up probably because tomorrow I'll get all of these will still be laying here, and I won't want to start doing something else. So I'll probably start painting tomorrow. So I'll leave this one here until tomorrow, and then I'll pick it up then, and I'll have a beautiful piece, and it'll be awesome. Thank you very much for joining me. If you have any questions, you can always send your quick questions to quiltingwithnancy@gmail.com. But a better idea is to consider joining the membership. So they've got 3 levels of membership. You can find more about it. You're seeing that there's a join button underneath there. When you click on that join button, you can find out there's 3 levels. The beginner level, which is a once a month Q&A that'll be actually next Thursday. So my next Thursday won't be alive for everybody. It'll be alive only for those people that are beginner level memberships. Then 2 weeks from there will be the designer level. So that means the beginner levels and the designer level can actually join me for 2 hours of designing with Electric Quilt, which is the designing program I use. And the 3rd level means that you can do both of those Q&As, and you will receive all of the e-patterns and stuff that I make. I send you out one a month, but when I'm making a new one, you'll get that one right away. So take a look at that. Maybe you'll like to join me for some more in-depth question and answers, so then you can send me any questions that you love. All right, somebody likes coming with painting stuff. Thank you very much for the wow, Richard. That's very nice. So thank you very much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Have a great night. Oh my goodness, just as I do that, I've got to stop it. Okay. All right, now have a great night.